Dear media representatives, you are welcome to the press conference of the Latvian Presidency's informal ECOFIN meeting in Riga. Today was the second day of the informal meeting, and we would like to inform about the issues that have been discussed. President of ECOFIN and Latvian Finance Minister Jānis Rērs and Vice President of European Commission Valdis Dombrovskis are taking part in the press conference today. And first of all, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Rērs.
Godātie mediju pārstāvji.
Media representatives, today we had an informal ECOFIN Council meeting, and we had the second session, and together with the ministers and governors of the European central banks, we discussed two significant issues: the capital markets union, and how to fight tax evasion and tax avoidance and aggressive tax planning. The capital markets union is a significant instrument for increasing institutional investment to European companies and infrastructure. The private capital savings need to become a source of funding for profitable projects and fast-growing companies, especially in smaller and less developed markets. As regards the SMEs, they need to have a better opportunity to attract investments from all the European Union member states. Only by promoting people to invest in competitive products and companies, the European Union can renew dynamic growth and competitive Europe. The ministers and the central bank governors supported the CMU concept, and it has a potential for growth, for employment and stability of the financial system against shocks. The CMU creation is a significant long-term project. It's necessary to develop a clear structure and principles for it, and we agreed that member states need to identify hurdles that do not allow the capital market development in the same way in the whole European Union. We need to promote activity of the small and retail investors and lessen the fragmentation in the European Union. And also we need to have faster changes so that the capital market union would ensure to the companies and private investors to cooperate. It is necessary to develop a concept so that the capital market union would be beneficial for all the countries of the European Union, all the regions, including the less developed financial markets that are less known to investors. The second important issue that we have discussed today was the combating of aggressive tax planning and tax evasion, namely BEPS, and it is top priority for the EU. This is why we discussed also about the EU plan as regard the BEPS issue or roadmap for BEPS for the implementation, and also as regards the priorities concerning it. The base erosion and profit shifting is a consequence for differences in member states as regards tax issues. This allows to artificially shift profit gained in a country to those countries and territories that are having low tax rates. Many international companies have used this in order to lessen their tax responsibilities against the budgets of the countries, and this issue is important for all of us because the base erosion profit shifting can impact our tax revenues and budgets of our countries. The informal council today was used in order to jointly assess what takes place in the council in this area, in order to exchange ideas on the proposals related to BEPS and on which we continue our work. The Latvian presidency has successfully prepared the BEPS roadmap, where we have identified several priorities of our mandate and also for longer-term priorities. And this roadmap includes other issues in relation with which we could plan the work in mid-term or longer-term period beyond 2015, June of 2015. In this way, the Latvian presidency has contributed significantly to planning the Council work. In this part of our presidency, it was useful to hear the opinions of our ministers on the situation in the BEPS area and also about those political aspects and general considerations that we need to take account of when continuing our work on resolving issues at the European Union level. I believe that the ECOFIN meeting today and that both issues considered during our ECOFIN will contribute significantly in order to promote sustainable development of the European Union.
Floor to Mr. Dombrovskis.
Godātais ministra kungs, dāmas un kungi.
Dear Minister, ladies and gentlemen, today we conclude informal ECOFIN meeting in Riga. I would like to thank Mr. Reyers, the Latvian presidency, and its team for enormous effort invested in organizing this event. Event of this scale is a challenge for any country. At the same time, it is a unique experience, investment in human capital. As the minister singled out, we looked at problems related to the creation of the CMU and combat against BEPS. I would like to thank my colleagues, Lord Hill and Pierre Moscovici, on their work on these issues. The European Commission has set for its objective the task of creating growth and increasing competitiveness in the EU, as well as creating new jobs. One of the problems of the European economy is the fact that funding of companies largely depends on the availability of bank funding. In order to decrease this dependence and attract investment, we need to stimulate capital market funding availabilities. And therefore, we need to, while we work on economic growth, the Commission has set as one of its objectives the creation of CMU. It is one of our priorities.
To where it can be most productive. It will help unlock the capital around Europe that is currently frozen and put it in a work to support Europe's businesses, particularly SMEs. So, stronger capital markets would complement banks as a sort of financing. That in turn would make the financial system more stable by opening up a wider range of financing sources. In essence, our task is to find ways of linking businesses and savers to finance growth. We need to identify and then remove the barriers which stand between investors' money and investment opportunities. And we need to identify and remove the obstacles which prevent businesses from reaching investors. Why it is worth doing? Let me give you one example. Medium-sized companies, the engines of growth in many countries, receive 5 times as much funding from capital markets in the US than in the EU. So certainly there is scope for work. Today, ministers discussed for the first time the Green Paper on Capital Markets Union. There was a strong support for what we are trying to do, so therefore I hope that we will be making real progress as regards preparation and implementation of the Capital Markets Union. Furthermore, ministers discussed the fight against base erosion and profit shifting. If we want to tackle aggressive tax planning, if we want stable revenues in a long term, if we want a single market that works for all businesses, then we need to work together, and Europe needs to take a lead in the fight against tax avoidance. This is a European Commission's political priority in its work agenda this year. And we are delivering on this with quite substantial speed. Our proposal for automatic exchange of information on tax rulings, which was presented in March, is a crucial first step in creating greater transparency in corporate taxation. With the proposed new requirements, each member state will be better able to react if another's tax ruling is impacting its own base. The automatic exchange of information will remove the shadows that currently surround tax rulings. This new openness should encourage fairer competition in this area and deter companies from using tax ruling as an instrument for tax abuse. So we are now calling for a swift agreement on the file by the co-legislators, and soon European Commission will also come with further initiatives as regards taxation, as regards European Commission's proposals in a context of G20 initiative to fight against base erosion and profit shifting. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Minister and Latvian Presidency for organizing this informal ECOFIN Council, for very good productive discussions which we had during those 2 days, and also for a very good organization of the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. And dear media representatives, if you have any question, please say your name and the name of the media company you represent before asking the question. Okay, if we don't have question, thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next ECOFIN meeting in Brussels. Thank you very much.